Watch this play and think, is everyone sticking with their guy? Is everyone helping out and cutting off the lane to the basket? Now watch it in slow motion and see what really happens. Nick, Evan, and Lake are well positioned. Charlie and Weston could sag off their players a little bit. If Charlie had been in the right position, he would have been able to help on that drive to the middle. Weston comes out to help stop the middle. I'd like to see Charlie play tighter defense, forcing 22 away from the ball. I'd also like to see Lake step out and help out. Nick is supposed to be guarding number one here. Weston has to help out, so they have a wide open lane. As one drives to the basket, Evan and Lake need to step up and cut off the lane. Lessons. Number one, stay with your man at all times. If you need to switch, you have to call it out. Number two, help out on the weak side, which means if the ball's on the opposite side from where your player is, you can sag off of them, always seeing the ball and your player. Number three, cut off the lane to the basket. When you're jumping out to help, you need to move your feet and get in the way. As you know, when you go over a screen, the screener is supposed to roll to the basket. Does Charlie roll to the basket? After the screen, the other guys are generally standing around. Now, it's a fatal mistake to pick up your dribble when you're being trapped. Weston and Lake move to open spots, but in general need to move much more and get open. Lessons. It's called a pick and roll or a screen and roll, meaning the screener or picker needs to roll to the basket. Number two, try not to pick up your dribble if being trapped. It's a trap. And number three, everyone on offense should be moving. If you're standing around for more than a couple of seconds, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Move to open spaces, call for the ball. We have one inbound play. Ask yourself if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing here. Notice how bunched up we get under the basket. I know Weston doesn't know the plays well, but when we get this crowded, the defense has an easy job guarding us, and it makes it impossible to get a good pass in. This is what the inbound play is supposed to look like. Lake's supposed to cut to the basket. Evan needs to go out to the wing. Nick needs to cut right directly to the hoop. And Weston needs to swing out to the top. If you get to your spot and you're still not open, you need to keep moving. You can't just keep getting more and more crowded around the inbounder. This looks a whole lot better. There's good spacing. Lake gets to the post. He's not open, and he slides out and gets the pass. I like how Evan sets the screen for Lake. I think we should consider adding that to the play. A good idea here by Evan to set a screen, but again, you need to roll to the basket. Notice Evan, Charlie, and Lake basically standing around. As Nick is driving to the basket, it would be a good time to go to the boards to get a rebound. Here's one example of many where a player remains unguarded and gets a wide open shot on the perimeter. Charlie, please pick and roll. Charlie does do a good job of moving to the open spot after the screen. This inbound play looks a lot better. There's good spacing. Weston makes a nice pass to Lake. Look at how well spaced we are here, leaving Weston open. Lake, you're wide open to begin with and should have gone to the basket. When you finally decide to go, then you're going up against two players. Strong hustle back to try to stop the layup and to get the rebound. This is a good shot attempt by Nick. Would have been nice to have more rebounding. But where's Charlie the whole time? Nick, watch how you're not even looking at the ball here as you're coming back. Lake, good job helping out, but if your hands were up, you probably would have blocked that pass. And Weston, good hustle. Lessons. Number 1, always see your ball and your man when you're on defense. Don't turn your back to the ball. Second, box out as soon as the ball goes up. Then go for the rebound. Lake's in good position here for weak side help, but as his man starts moving up to the top, he needs to stay between the ball and his man, and then he needs to contest the open shot. I hope after watching this video you guys will pick and roll to the basket. First Charlie sets a pick, then stands there, then Lake sets a pick and stands there. These screens aren't working because in our offense, if somebody dribbles at you, you cut to the basket. If they want to run somebody off of a screen, it should be called out or pre-planned. So if you're being dribbled at, cut to the basket. Again, here it's pass in no cut. So Charlie, if you would just cut to the basket, we could run our offense. Good pass by Weston and nice bucket by Nick. Lessons. When you're playing help side defense, you need to stay on a line between the ball and your man. Number 2, when your guy has the ball, stay 1 arm length away from them and contest every shot. Number 3, please run our offense. Pass, cut, fill, or dribble at, or replace screens. Evan helps out and makes a good switch here, but if he had jumped in front of player 1, it would have made the switch unnecessary. I'd like to see Evan move his feet to really stop the path to the basket when he helps out. Good rebound. Here we start running our pass and cut. Lake cuts to the basket, but he's not looking for the ball. Good fill at the top by Evan, looking like he really wants the ball. Another screen by Charlie, but no roll to the basket. Here we run our offense. We pass and cut to the basket, fill up at the top. Nice pass to Weston with good score. I like all the help on this play. Please stay 1 arm's length away from this guy. He already shot a 3-pointer. What happens here to the weak side help with Evan, Lake, and Nick all standing there? One of the fundamentals of defense is stop the player from getting to the basket. You need to do that by moving your feet to get into their way and having your hands up. Play good help side defense, which means jumping out, moving your feet, and getting in front of the player to block their path to the basket. Also, call out screens and switch if you need to. Run the offense. That will spread out the defense and give you open shots. If you don't run the offense, everything will break down. And lastly, when you don't have the ball in offense, you need to move. You don't need to move out of position, but you need to fake like you're going to go to the basket or do something. Evan does a good job pushing the ball towards the basket, and then Weston, sensing the defense collapsing on Evan, backs off and is open for a layup. Here we try a full court man-to-man press. Player 54 gets away from us and is wide open at the other end. Always know who you're guarding. Nice breakaway drive, Weston. Watch the player defending Evan maintain a great stance, moving his feet to stay between Evan and the basket. That's what we need to do. Jack, I know you know this, but you need to get your feet under you before you take a shot. Evan again dribbling into the trap. More great hustle here by Evan. Good job by Weston to penetrate and then dish the ball to Jack. And you'll notice Jack has his feet set and he goes up and he makes the basket. Great job. Nice passing here. And if you look really closely, it looks like he traveled. Because as you can see, he moves both of his feet. Good communication here to figure out that somebody's not matched up. Watch this play and ask yourself, do you pass and cut then fill? Evan passes and cuts, and Charlie fills. Charlie passes but does not cut. Jack passes and cuts, gets wide open. Weston does not pass and cut. Jack, remember to square up to the basket before you take a shot. Good hustle down, Jack G, but you get screened. I don't know if Charlie calls it out, but there's no switch here. So now your player's undefended. What needs to happen is Charlie can jump out to block the player's progress. He also needs to call out the screen so that you know it's coming, and then you guys need to make a switch. We all make mistakes. You just gotta move on and keep playing hard. Whether it's a bad call or a bad pass, when you react to your mistakes, they take power over you. Try to remain positive and upbeat and move on and play harder. I guess as Charlie is still focusing on the bad pass and was late to help out here. Here's where one of the camera goes out, so we only have the defensive end of the court for the rest of the video. For most of what remains of the game, you guys do a pretty good job on defense, helping out and being in good position. There are a few errors, though. Notice how Weston gets screened and Charlie doesn't switch. Charlie, please call out the screens and call out the switches. Good position here by Carter to stay between his man and the basket. But as Evans' man comes around, Carter, you need to try to step out and help. Carter, you're in a good position here, but your job is not just to stand there with your hand up, but it's to actually try to intercept the ball or block the pass. Carter, you absolutely have to be between the ball and your man. That guy was wide open for a moment. Whether you're on offense or defense, when the ball is shot, you need to box out first, then get the rebound. Here you can see Bobby and Henry stuck under the basket with the offensive player getting the rebound. This should just never happen. You'll see twice in a row where Lake does not jump in front of the guy driving to the basket. Nice job defending by Henry with a near steal. When you compare Lake with the guy who ends up with the ball, who looks like they actually want the ball? The guy on the ground or the guy bending over? Now we can't see what's happening on the left side of the court, but for a guy to drive across the baseline, Lake surely missed an opportunity to cut off the baseline. And here we go again. Completely undefended player open for the layup. Both Jack M and Henry do not look like they're ready to play defense. They're standing flat footed. They're not between the ball and their player. They're not in any position to really move or help out. When you're guarding the ball, stay one arm length away from your player and be in a good defensive stance so that you can move. You need to contest every shot. Always be in position to help on defense, which means staying between the ball and your man and jumping to cut off the path to the basket. You must always know who you're guarding and where they are on the court. Whether on offense or defense, always box out when the ball goes up and then go for the rebound. Run the offense. Pass, cut, fill. Remember to do all three of those. Number two, dribble at. You know what to do. And replace screens, which we didn't try in this game at all. Next, move when you don't have the ball, so you're not just stagnant and easy to guard. And lastly, when the ball goes up, you need to go to the basket and box out or get position for a rebound. Finally, my goals for this year are to have fun, learn the fundamentals, play as a team, and win as many games as we can. I am very confident in you guys, and I know you can play much better than this. Play aggressively, play hard, give it your best.